let's throw it over to John Machota. And what are you hearing around the star, and what's going on, John?
I'd say this week, I mean, really the last month has been all about, the head coaching position. Outside of that, probably the next would probably be about Ezekiel Elliott, asking for a release to try and go to a contender. He wasn't claimed off waivers by anybody, so he could sign with whatever team he wants to. So I thought that's kind of interesting because, that doesn't happen that often where a veteran player is let go at the end of a season so that they can go to another team. But it sounds like Jerry Jones was like he's got a good relationship with Zeke. He feels like Zeke's done so much for him in that. So he was just fine with allowing him to do that. So I guess we'll see if he goes to a contender or not. Like I said, he wasn't claimed. And then just the stuff with the McCarthy, him talking today at the podium a little bit about how, he'll probably do a little extra reflecting when he's at the stadium on Sunday, knowing that could be his last game as head coach. So, I still think
put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Put a pin in that.
That's fine.
Yeah. No. I mean, I didn't mean it not to stop you, John. I mean, like, I want to.
We're gonna go back to it.
We're gonna go back to that.
Yeah,
John.
that's
okay.
That's
I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up later, but no.
No.
The way things are leaning for me, I do think they're going in another direction.
Yes.
It seems like it's heading that way where there's just been too many times over the last few weeks where, Jerry will talk real highly or Steven will talk real highly of Mike and the rest of the staff. But then as soon as it turns to, bringing him back, that's when it's, we're not talking about that yet. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you say something about, we're going to get it figured out. Like, we'll do it. No, but it's very like, it gets super serious after that. And so I've been wrong before, and Jerry loves to allow us to play games with his wordplay. But I'm just saying where it sits right now, it seems like it's leaning in a direction that they'll be going after a new head coach in the offseason. We don't know who that will be because they haven't. Honestly, you don't have a good read at all because it's
Jason
Cowboys.
Witten. No, let me stop.
I mean, there's really, it's like really, it's one of those things where you're in the whole the boardroom type thing, and you got everybody in front of you. You're like, all right, everybody just throw out ideas. There's no.
Yeah, I agree though. I mean, to kind of piggyback on what John was saying, initially, as of maybe a month ago, at first we heard Jerry them kind of giving answers that would make you think that they were kind of preparing the fan base for maybe Mike McCarthy coming back. Like they were just almost placating us a little bit, right? And then it seems like the later this season has gotten, specifically the last week or two, Mike McCarthy has been in a much more reflective state, like you mentioned.
Right.
And it's reflective to a point where it's almost like you thinking about all the old good times you had with this girl, you about to have to cut off. It's like one of those, man. So I'm really starting to think that Mike McCarthy himself doesn't even think that anything's going to happen. And to be quite frank, from his point of view, if anybody working in any field, any business field in the world, bro, when your contract is up, when you're an independent contractor, you're not going to wait until the contract is completely over before you try to re-up on your contract, on your deal or something, or even have talks about, to even talk about it? To even talk about it? Nah, man, if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm like, hey, man, Jerry, deuces. Other teams want me now. He pulled a Dan Quinn. He came back here, kind of restored his ethos a little bit across the league. And now other teams going to be willing to pay him more money, man. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think if he doesn't return with the Cowboys, do you think that he'll be coaching another team?
Yes.
Most certainly.
Yes,
most certainly.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Whether it be the Bears, the Saints, or the Jets, one of them.
100%. Listen. And John, if you got anything else coming from the start, because I got a few things I want to ask you about Jordan Lewis and
go ahead.
Some other things. But just to answer that question, John, I'm gonna tell you, like I told a lot of Cowboys fans, Mike McCarthy is a good coach. Now, is he a Super Bowl winning coach? No. But there are, he has won one. He has won one.
Okay.
I think there are organizations who would kill for that type of stability. To have 12 wins, if you don't, the Jets would love to get 12 wins somehow, some way. So I think that in Dallas, we gotta, but there are
the old saying. The old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I think that the ideology of Mike McCarthy on the open market is different from Jason Garrett. You remember Jason Garrett stood here so long, I heard that he handed the keys to Mike McCarthy, So I think that Mike McCarthy would at least get some offers or some attention, and that way he can get more and more money and more resources. If not, the Cowboys front office, maybe they cave a little bit like they always do and go ahead and pay. But it seems as if though they got a coaching in waiting somewhere. They just don't want to leak it out to us. Maybe it's Kellen Moore. Oops.
Law, as I and
Man,
we can kind of go through and give thoughts on how we feel about certain candidates.
I don't even want to do the rest of the show because he said Kellen.
Wait a minute.
I think the plan is. I tweeted this out last week, Vash. I said I am starting to feel like Mike is gone, and with John just coming in and and we could both be wrong. They can have something up their sleeve, and they can have it. It just doesn't feel that way.
You know what has really changed for me?
What's that?
It's the pregame interview that Jerry and Steven did in the game right after Washington beat Philly to officially knock them out of the playoffs. You could just tell the tone, and then after the game, the way that Jerry said that they met in Mike's office before the game, like it was like ever since then I've been kind of going like, wow, this does sound like that. There's some finality to this, like almost like he was talking to Mike up for, hey, maybe there's, typical Jerry having this hope that they could be this weeks into the playoffs, and why I'm not going to judge him right now. Let's see if he can. But then when that finality came, that's when things kind of started to shift with Jerry's messaging and just kind of what he was saying about the whole situation.
I agree.
Facts. I agree.
Well, I'll say this, guys. If I think that. We talked about this on our first show. I think they are going to make a hard push for Ben Johnson. Now, will Ben?
Well, you gonna give me wet dreams saying that, boy?
Well, I think they're going to try because Jerry. I think he can bring out some cash, and I think what he's going to do is say, "Listen, Ben." He's going to say he's going to move himself out of the way. You can't tell me that he's not watching Detroit play football. Not watching that offense, not watching those guys have fun, not watching players be utilized, not watching Jared Goff's career be revitalized.
Wow.
When the Rams said, you know what, we can't use him,
right?
They said, and so I think that's who they're going to make a hard push for. Will Ben go for it? That's John. You know more than me, and you've been around that Detroit team, or at least know about his ethos and how he. But that's what I'm thinking.
I would say on that, I just with Jerry, it would make me think that it would almost be one of those things where Jerry would want him because he doesn't have any head coaching experience to almost have like Mike Zimmer as the DC, and maybe a Ben Johnson would be fine with that. Or maybe Ben Johnson gets so many offers from other places where he's like, no. I'm going to handpick my DC wherever I go because I'm going to be the head coach that's also calling the plays. It's going to be my DC that I want. And so if that's the case, then maybe he doesn't want to go that route. And it's all about the offers you have on the table, And so if he has a bunch of other teams, they're like, no, we'll let you do all that. You're going to have a say in personnel, all that stuff. Well, he's going to take that,
Right.
And so, so I think there's some other factors that go into it for sure, because I do think that Jerry will want the DC to be somebody who
seasoned
coaching experience.
Yeah. And Ben Johnson had his list of demands, right? So I'm quite sure that Jerry will look into that, but he was like, I'm not going to relinquish all of that power. And we got to understand that Jerry never wants to be back in that position again. On top of that, I have to say this, ladies and gentlemen that's watching in the chat, Ben Johnson, if it's a bidding war, shoot, I don't think Jerry will be willing to spend $20 to $21 million or $15 million when he's comfortable paying a Super Bowl winning coach $4 to $5 million. So I just think the money aspect.
This, though, a big part of it with the Ben Johnson too that can factor in is we don't know, and I bet you people around him wouldn't even know this, but we don't know what he thinks of Dak Prescott. If he thinks Dak Prescott hasn't been used in the right way, and he's like, I did this with Goff. They needed to attach a first round pick to take Goff off of their hands.
Wow.
You give me Dak. Oh, I'll put in the running back type system I have here. We'll do all this other stuff. You never know how he feels because again, if you're taking the job with the Cowboys, the things that are for certain is that your GM is going to be Jerry Jones.
Facts.
Your team owner is going to be Jerry Jones, and your quarterback's going to be Dak Prescott. And so he feels very highly about that, and that's a more advantageous thing than obviously the other name that's mentioned all the time is the Bears. Ben Johnson is not going to say publicly, especially being in the division, oh, I would never want to work with Caleb Williams. He seems like a headache. But if he feels that way and he thinks that's a dumpster fire, at the same time, the dollars might not be the ultimate,
Insights.
Right.
Okay.
What I can do with this offense, man, I could flip this thing real quick, but we don't know how he feels about the roster. So that's the only thing.
To be fair, the Cowboys are a year removed from being the number one offense in the National Football League. So I'm quite sure some of the pieces are there. I'm quite sure it's look, the Cowboys will always be the place to go. It's 100%. Like the Kardashians. It's like the Kardashians. You know what I'm saying? This always will be the spot. Come on with it.
This is a sexy job, man. Yeah. Let's stop it, bro. Let's stop it, bro. I know fans want to act like that we're in turmoil and the sky is falling. Hey, man, Dallas is the cream of the crop.
Creme de la creme.
As it pertains to people coming and taking jobs or needing a launching point for their career, you can't get a better launching point than the Cowboys, man. Especially coming off this type of season, you're already gonna have some grace with the fans. So you could go 10-7 next year, 9-8 in a rebuilding type of year, and people won't look at it like, oh, you trash. They're gonna be like, okay, this is just a building season.
Dak Prescott can't.
Yeah, Dak can't. Dak can't. I'm talking about the coach. Dak, you and me can't take that, brother. We can't take that. I wouldn't be able to defend it. All right? But let's stop, bro. Dallas is 100% a place that anybody should want to go, and it's to the money part. The money in Dallas is different, bro.
John, let me ask you this though: what is the business model of the Cowboys? For them to operate and act quickly, that's not their flow, right? Just like even with the Michael Parsons saying that he's willing to take less money. For them to hurry up and pay Michael Parsons, that's not the business model. They like to stretch and pull out and wait to the last minute for all of these things, right?
Let me jump in real quick before John goes. Law, this is the one thing. They don't have time. When you building a program, they can't wait a month to. Yeah. Hey, Jerry, you need to start interviewing guys. Yeah. When it's 0-0, that brass needs to know, to me, and I'll let John go, what they're doing at the head coaching position.
100%.
Bro, they gotta start scouting this shit. I mean, excuse my language. This stuff they gotta go.
Ain't no excuse your language, Foots.
But no. But at the end of the day, Foots and John, how long was it when Jason Garrett said, "Oh, Mike, here's the keys"? How long was that?
It seemed like it was longer. It was actually only 7 days. It's crazy.
Oh, it felt like okay, good.
I thought it was a lot longer too because it just seemed like that.
Yeah.
But I will say this could be a lot longer because if it was to be someone like Ben Johnson and they're making a deep playoff run, he's not leaving the Lions in the middle of a deep playoff run to come coach the Cowboys. So you have to wait until that's over anyway. Or Law saying Kellen Moore, if the Eagles make a deep playoff run, then you'd have to wait on that. I have to say this though, because when you mentioned Kellen Moore and then the way Attack hated that idea, Attack, you hate Kellen Moore more than the idea of Kellen Moore more than the idea of John Gruden. How do you feel about that?
Ooh. Hey, I tell you what, it's not gonna be popular for me to say this.
What?
I'm taking Chucky. Taking Chucky over Kellen. I'm sorry.
And one thing you can say, Attack.
As far as a head coach, I'm taking Chucky, bro. Period.
And John Gruden spoke very vividly and highly of Dak Prescott. So, and he do the Gruden grinder, when he get to go to the chalkboard and everything. So, hey, it could be a situation. It's just that from a PR aspect, can Gruden fit right here in Dallas?
Yeah. Are we serious?
Are you sure?
Are we serious?
Are you sure?
Yes.
Break it down. Break it down.
No, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
From a PR aspect, what would you think would be the issues with John? Let's start there.
All right. Do you know of the past? You know what I'm saying?
I know the email. I know that he was used to get railroad. I know he was used. Hey, do you know Jerry's past? Do you not remember Jerry sitting in that Arkansas picture like, you black people get off my school? You don't remember that, bro?
Yeah,
you don't remember that?
Yeah. So when you want more and more of that, would that open up wounds there?
I'm saying he would fit the grain of the wood. That's all I'm saying, bro.
The Gruden grinder.
to Attack's point, though, there is a lot of truth to that. That's why when I saw the reports that Gruden possibly want to get in, I'm like, who would be able to like look past that? And it's hard to sit there and not put Jerry Jones on the list.
At the top of the list.
Right.
At the top of the list.
That. Where a lot of other owners, it would be
they won't touch
right
it
off the bat. Yeah.
So you're right. If anybody could touch it, it would be Jerry Jones. Kind of like the dude that threw the girl on the bed of guns. If anybody could touch it, it would have been Jerry Jones. I forgot the guy.
Let's not act like
Greg
John
Hardy.
Gruden
Yeah,
knows
Greg Hardy.
football, man.
Yeah,
John
Hardy,
Gruden knows football. But let's not act like he was a scrub coach or anything like that. He even had the Raiders playing above their heads a little bit, and we see how terrible they were after he was gone, man.
Facts.
And I'm specifically saying because Jerry is still around. Because if Jerry wasn't around and Steven was running it, I don't think Steven would want to deal with any of the John Gruden pass either. But just because Jerry is and all the stuff that Jerry has dealt with himself and been through, he is one of the few people that if someone was going to give John Gruden another chance, it would be him. But Attack, I agree with your first point on that, though. There's going to be a lot of people watching this that don't like that idea at all.
They don't like the idea, but I'm sorry. If you like the idea of seeing more hitches and goals and 4 comebacks and all that, and stupid play calling at the wrong time, unless you got a Saquon Barkley on your team that BS Kellen Moore doing ain't going to work, son. I don't want him back, dog.
And there's a history, too. Who's our linebackers coach, John? I forgot his name. Is it Paul Gunter? Paul Gunter. Did Paul Gunter play under Gruden? John Gruden?
He maybe did.
Yeah, there might be a connection there.
Connection there to keep some continuity.
But also, how do you feel about the idea that John Gruden's time with the Raiders really didn't go very well?
I mean, the Raiders were ass though. What did they have though? What did he have to work with?
No, I understand that, but it was ugly all the way around the board. I think that
Antonio Brown coming there acting a fool, bro. Like, come on, man. It was
the whole situation. And again, that goes back to Mike and Jason. Unfortunately, bring stability. That this is how this could go. How I see it, it could go really good, or it could be terrible, because you get the wrong guy in here. It could be, it could just be a disaster, bro. I don't even want to. So I think that the safest play for me would be Ben Johnson. Another safe play would be Vrabel. I don't think there's a world where
Vrabel's offense scares me, bro.
But that's the thing. So here's the thing. I'm with you. But the problem, so you go get an OC, right?
But who was an OC that Vrabel's going to be okay with, though? You know what I'm saying?
Vrabel is the culture guy, though, AOC. So the culture and us being tougher and us playing good defense.
Chucky is too, and he also no offense.
But watch this, though. But hold on. You want to run the ball and you want to get a guy in here, right? Yeah. A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry went to an AFC championship with those two players.
Man, and they still cold with their new teams. That wasn't Vrabel. No.
That Tennessee organization messed that up. That's been very well documented.
But the offense wasn't like the defense to me on those teams were what was driving those teams, though.
And that's how it would be here. If Vrabel got the job, that's how it would be here. It would go back to 2014 and 2016 where it led with the run game.
Oh, y'all trying to get Dak fired? Okay, I got you.
Wait a minute.
We're trying to get Dak fired at this point.
I'm saying if it's Mike Vrabel, he is not going to run some high octane offense. It is going to.
I don't want it.
It's going to be a run-first offense that's going to lean on the defense. That's how he's
that will play to the ultimate strength of Dak Prescott.
That's just a different flavor of what Mike McCarthy trying to do is what y'all selling me right now. I'm sorry, bro. Mike McCarthy is on the complimentary football BS, and y'all Vrabel's
not giving us compliments.
He's going to take us back to 2016, and we're going to be running. That sounds like some complimentary football BS, man. That's a different flavor, a different shade of chocolate from what Mike McCarthy's already doing, brother. Okay,
we got to do something different.
The fans' biggest thing it's been hard to watch this team offensively, bro. That's been the difficult thing this year.
But I got to push back on Vrabel, because another thing with Vrabel is his defense to stop the run.
Okay,
they were really good at that.
I'm about to put
on that run that he went on. I mean, they took out some good quarterbacks. Yeah. I understand that we want to see high octane offense. We saw high-octane offense with Kellen Moore, and it flamed out. Yeah. We saw high-octane offense last year with Mike McCarthy. You just said it, number one offense, and guess what?
It was figured out.
It was figured out.
AOC, you got to understand, he was doing that with Ryan Tannehill, bro. So,
we all knew that the Cowboys offense. Nah, man, we all knew. Anybody that was really serious, bro, we all knew the Cowboys offense, the way they were running it, was not sustainable in the playoffs, because we've seen them have #1 offenses year after year, and we see every year what the Achilles heel of those offenses has been. Outside of the dumb penalties and stupid stuff like that, it's been the fact that you have one weapon, and the offense is too easy to game plan for in the playoffs, bro. That's been the biggest change,
AOC,
man.
are we closer to having a better offense or a better defense for the 2025 season?
Well, if you go by the Pro Bowl votes, offense, sir. Got 2 Pro Bowlers on offense, only 1 on defense.
This year, wait a minute. This is
hey,
man, we can't use Pro Bowls because that's a popularity contest. We got 5 Pro Bowlers and the Vikings got 6, and they got a 14-2 record. So we can't use Pro Bowls. But what I'm saying is, AOC.
Hey, I will say though on that real quick, I do think that the initial Pro Bowl list is fine. It's when you get to the 17 alternatives.
Oh yeah, alternative.
Yeah.
We're gonna end up having 9
right now, like that around the Pro Bowl. Whether you're talking about Turpin, Aubrey, Tyler Smith, Mike or CD, any team that they're on, those guys are.
So okay, hold on. I'm about to kill this whole conversation. Are y'all ready to get into some actual facts and stats or what? Since we over here gawking on Mike Vrabel right now, bro.
Hey, come
sir,
on now, dog.
Sir, no, it don't come on now, dog. Be quiet, Bootsy. Like, look, 2018, he was with the Titans from 2018 to 2023, right? In defense. He only had a defense that ranked in the top 10 in points.
That boy said it.
Twice. Number 6 in 2021 and number 3 in 2018. He had a defense that only ranked top 10 with yards allowed only once, 2018, bruh. Outside of that, you looking at points allowed, 2017, 32nd in the league. Points allowed, 2019, 12th, 2020, 24th. 2021, 6th, 2022, 14th, 2023, 16th. You talking about a middle-of-the-road average-ass defense, bro. Stop, bro.
Name me the Parsons on that team. Name me the Ron Bland on that team. Come on, man. Name me even a D-Law on that team. Now, they had Jeffrey Simmons, and that's about it. Come on, bro.
Okay, but you can't sit here and make a case for a coach being somewhere
because of the culture.
Something, but the stats don't show that. The empirical data does not back up that Mike Vrabel is this defensive savant, bro.
We should go get Aaron Glenn.
It doesn't.
So let me ask you a question. I understand.
I don't want a defensive coach. Y'all know how I'm rolling. Offense, dog.
And I get that. But here's the problem. When your offense can't get it going, we saw last year in the playoffs, did anybody feel like we would stop Green Bay?
No.
Mic drop. No.
You said what?
Go watch.
Hold on. What was the point you just made?
The point is you need to have a solid defense. That's the point.
They gave up 40 points last year, dog.
That's what I'm telling you. So
yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying because they weren't good on defense.
Okay. So the year we played against San Francisco, those 2 years, and the defense held them boys to about 20 points, bro. 20, close to the low 20s, bro. What the offense do?
No, bro.
Y'all don't think we could have? All foots. Here we go.
We'll see.
That was 1 year. That was one of them games. Dak had a bad showing in one of the playoff games. The other game, he had no damn help. He had 40 yards of total rushing yards. The best receiver was someone not named CD Lamb, and they had no help, dog. So let's not do that.
But to be fair, the 2 times they beat us, how many points they beat us by?
What?
In 2021 and 2022, how many points did the 49ers beat us?
We score 20 points, man.
No, we didn't. But how many points did
we need to score points? Because guess what? No, but for real. Because guess what? If you get to the Super Bowl, if you ever, while we alive, get to the Super Bowl, and you have to play against Pat, Lamar, Josh Allen, you think we shutting them teams down, bro?
Can I ask you a question?
Teams have had to score 30 to 40 points to win the bowl, bro.
In the last Super Bowl, would you say that Kansas City's offense or defense was better?
The last one?
I really hate using them as an example.
Yeah, it's kind of outlier. But
here's my point. Andy Reid.
Outside of this last one, no, we could go on that. Outside of this last one, who was the last team that had a defense to let Super Bowl?
This is what we gotta do. We gotta let each other make points.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Foots. I'm sorry.
You good. Everybody, I remember
that boy Crunk.
No, I remember this like it was yesterday because I called it. They were going to play the MVP winning Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens were supposed to beat the brakes off of Kansas City. And you know what the Kansas City Chiefs did? They made Lamar look crazy. Why?
Like he always does in the playoffs, but go ahead.
But okay, I understand. But guess what? That defense was lights out.
Lamar always underachieves in the playoffs. Okay, bad example.
Okay, it's a bad example. Okay, let's use a better example then. Okay. The same San Francisco great offensive coordinator that Kyle Shanahan is, he could not move the ball. He could not move the ball against Kansas City last year in the Super Bowl. He couldn't. Go look it up.
Yeah.
He couldn't move the ball.
Yeah.
I remember.
How many points were scored in that game?
Doesn't matter. We're talking about the defense right now.
Right, and defense gives up points. How many points were scored in that game, Foots?
Bro,
all I know is the 49ers was at the 8-yard line, and they couldn't get it in because that offense was stalled off because of that defense, man. Defense win championships now. Come on.
Chris Jones.
Yeah, Christopher Jones. Come on.
Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie. Come on, man.
Come on. George Karlaftis and the other kid, that DB that went to Tennessee. Yeah, they have some defense now.
But the point is this.
How many points were scored?
What Law just told you. You have a Micah Parsons on this defense. Listen, I know we need weapons. I know we need help for CeeDee Lamb. But, dog, you also only have Deron Bland. Now your defense is about to look really crazy. Go rewatch the game from Sunday.
And the offense don't, Foots. Are we winning with Jake? Are we winning with Jake Ferguson as our second best offensive weapon? Is what I want to know.
He hasn't been good. I 100%.
Like you sit here talking about defense, dog. Have you seen the damn offense, bro? Like what have you seen the offense?
I'm gonna tell you something about this offense, though, right? The organization made a huge mistake, and we can segue into thinking that Deuce Vaughn,
Tiny Deuce Vaughn,
name the running back. So even Rico, love him. Rico doesn't have a run over 30 yards. Huge mistake not bringing in a real running back.
You're making my point. We needed more help on offense.
No, I'm with you. But the point is we're talking about the coach, what type of coach we need. If you give Mike Vrabel a decent running back, dog, you just said that you just named off all these stats. I'm going to give you a stat. When the last time the Cowboys went to an NFC championship game? Because he took Ryan Tannehill there. An AFC championship game. I would be doing a backflip to go to one of those. We can't even get out of the divisional round.
Yeah. You got a point.
I would definitely lean toward. I would prefer an offensive coach. I prefer.
All right, come on, man. Thank you, John.
Johnson. I do agree that I do think that to beat whoever you get to play in the Super Bowl, whether it's Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes, you're going to probably have to outscore them. Yeah. And I do think that the Cowboys have done enough on defense that they can be solid enough regardless of who's coaching them. They just, since they drafted Micah Parsons, it flipped that to where.
So like, why do we feel like we need a defensive head coach?
I would prefer an offensive coach, but I'm just saying, when I brought up Mike Vrabel, I'm just saying that he ain't coming in here to change what he's done. Like, he's going to do. Right. So if you don't like that, then you do not want Mike Vrabel.
No, and I don't necessarily say defensive coach, AOC. I'm just saying I can see a world where if you give Mike Vrabel a run game, a CeeDee Lamb who's a stud, and you give him Micah Parsons, this defense can be, I think this team could be good. This team is not as far away as people think, to me.
I don't think it's far either. I think we just need
so now we're talking about moving on from Mike McCarthy.
Right.
Whoever you bring in here better be able to stabilize this shit.
Yeah.
Because Mike McCarthy has been 12-5. He got injured this year. Who's coming in here year one if it ain't been? Because like I said, that's why my goal is Ben Johnson. I'm shooting for the stars here, AOC. You're offensive guy because I definitely want a high flying offense. But if not Ben Johnson, where do we look, fellas? Where do we look, John? Because they're not gonna hire. We know they're not gonna hire Brady. They're not gonna hire who's the OC in Tampa. They're not gonna hire. They're not gonna hire Liam Cohen. They're not gonna hire the Houston
Bobby Slowick.
Bobby Slowick. They're not gonna do that. They're not. Yeah. They want somebody who's been a head coach before. We know that as people who follow this team.
Yeah.
Unless that this Mike McCarthy run was something that where Jerry's like, all right. I'm willing to give it a try to
bring him back over Vrabel. I'm sorry.
Is running some type of a different offense, you know?
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm dead ass serious.
Because my thing is with the Cowboys, when you talk about those Niners games and things like that, it makes me just think about how much anyone from that Shanahan tree has been their kryptonite. And the thing about Ben Johnson is he's not from that. That's what's so crazy. He's the one outlier, that he's the one offensive guy that's done it for multiple seasons that isn't from that tree. And so that to me would be the forward thinking thing. Like, let's get this. And hey, guess what? This doesn't work. And in 4 or 5 years from now, whatever, at least we tried. At least we tried to put the most innovative offensive $60 million quarterback. And we gave, as opposed to just doing, because kind of to your point, Attack, whether you talk about Vrabel or you talk about like a John Gruden or Doug Peterson or Ron Rivera, anything, Mike McCarthy, if you were going to do that.
Exactly, bro. Like just keep Mike, bro. And we talking about dudes like, if we're going to go backwards or if we're going to just do another retread, keep Mike here. At least there's some continuity. The system's already in place. Get him some extra pieces to play with, and we all be mad again next year. But bringing Mike Vrabel here, or to come in and run this antiquated ass offense, this super basic, boring, hard to watch brand of football, bro. I am not.
If you Mike McCarthy, why would you want to come back?
If you Mike Vrabel, why would you want to come here if your biggest thing is you're a culture guy and Jerry Jones is not going to allow you to just put your entire print on this team, bro?
Remember what we said before we entered into this conversation. Remember, the Cowboys are still like the Kardashians, so he haven't danced with Kardashian yet. So the thing is, I'm telling the truth, AOC. But if Mike McCarthy is getting a deal that he can't refuse from the Jets or the Saints or to a degree the Chicago Bears, I think that he's going to hightail out of here because of the fact that his time done been spent, in the words of Jerry Jones. So I think that that's the situation and scenario if Mike McCarthy don't come back.
I'll say this. And this is just my time in knowing Mike over the last 4 or 5 years, getting to know him. I'm a big fan of him as a human being. He's a great dude. Like, talking to him off the record, everything like that. Like, he's a really good dude. So I feel bad that there are times when you have to write or talk about him losing his job or whatever, because I would love for Mike to continue to be the coach. He's great to work with. With all that being said, I do get the feeling that he would love to stay here.
Okay.
Law, and where this would get, where I would agree with you on this, is I feel that way today. Let this thing drag out a week or so into the off season and leave him kind of like not knowing if you're interested in him or not. And then all of a sudden, like 15 days later, be like, all right, no, Mike, we want you. I could see then where he's like pissed off or like, I'm going somewhere else. No, but when like it's a couple days after the season's over, because this is what's going to happen. Jerry's going to allow him. They're going to drag out the week after because they're going to say that he needs to talk to all the players and coaches on their exit interviews. And that's going to buy them 3 or 4 days right there. And then where I think that maybe something will come out will be that following weekend, because that's much like when they did the same thing with Jason Garrett. Said they put out the statement that he wasn't coming back. And just like Jerry, that comes out when the wild card games are going on. So it keeps the Cowboys spotlight, drags the thing on like that. But if you drag that on with Mike McCarthy and then all of a sudden come back, like I said, a couple weeks later, I agree with you. I'd be like, "Why? I'm not doing this again. I'll go take this other job if he has another job offer that he really likes."